Hi, this is Simon. Welcome to this video on the wood lathe. Let's have a look at a wood lathe. In this video, I would like to get you to learn a few things. First of all, about the parts of the wood lathe. You can see that there's quite a number of different sections on this, and that would help us learn all the keywords, which would help us in future videos. So keywords. And also I'd like you to be able to draw a simple version of this wood lathe, just in case somebody asks you how something like this works. And then I'd also like you to understand what you could make on this wood lathe. And that's where we're going to start straight away. So here we go. We've got a salt shaker, which is being made out of wood. And if I put my ruler on there, I can draw a very important line down the middle here, which is the axis of symmetry. So let me just take that ruler off. And here we've got so I'll just write that in. This is the axis of symmetry. It's a very important point because a lot of objects have this axis of symmetry, and if they do, then you can make them in wood, then you can make them on the wood lathe. If I just go back to this pot here, you can see that we've got a curved line coming down for all the undulations and the grip and the ergonomic section there, and that we call the profile. So let's just put that in there, the profile. Right, we got the profile. Now, if we took that profile and we revolved it around 360 degrees around this axis of symmetry, then we end back up with our salt shaker shape. And that's a very important feature to understand what can be made on lathes. We need an axis of symmetry and a profile rotation of 360 degrees. Okay, let's move on then. We want to show you how now to draw a lathe in a simple format. So I'm going to start off here first of all with a nice big headstock. I'll put some labels on this in a minute. We've then got the bed of the machine coming along like so, and then also the legs of the machine coming down like that. And if I fill these in, you can see this solid block H shape, which is very important for the lathe. It gives it stability and it raises the headstock up here. We're going to do a lot of our work in this area. Okay, right. The next important thing to know is that we have a spindle which will run through. Oh, I've not got the right tool on. That's scruffy, Simon. Let's get this on. You could use your ruler, couldn't you, if you were drawing this? But I've got to use my little helpful tools. And I'm going to put in here the spindle. So the spindle runs through the machine, and you can actually use the spindle on either end. So let's get some labeling. Be a good time to put some labeling on here now. So we've got the headstock, which contains a lot of the machinery and the motors, and I'll come back to that shortly. We've got the spindle, which is a very important thing because this is what's going to be able to turn our wood around. We've got the bed of the machine, again, bed, and then we've got a leg here. Not so important to know, but we've got a leg or a frame to finish that off. Right, the next thing I want to show you is the tailstock, and I'll just do this in a different color. The tailstock sits here on the end of the bed of the lathe. I like to put a little angle on there. It reminds me of a lathe that I used to have. And let's see if we can get a fill in there for the tailstock. So it sits on the end of the bed here. However, it can be moved up and down this area. So the tailstock can move along the bed here. And let's get that labelled up now before I forget. This is the tail stock. And inside the tailstock we have another little rectangular, well, it's cylindrical item, but rectangular drawing on our diagram, and this is the quill. So again, let's just fill it in, and the quill goes right the way through the tailstock, and again we can just label that up there, Simon, if you don't mind. Quill. So that's the quill. Right, the important thing is that the headstock, which has got the spindle in, and the tailstock, which has got the quill in, are actually in line with each other. So if I just bring my ruler back into place here and just put it along here and get it nice and straight, I'm just going to move it up, and you can see, oh, that's not a bad drawing at all, is it, Simon? So the spindle and the tailstock, as you can see, go along this sort of centre line, and that will help us later on to get our axis of symmetry along that line as well. And that's important on all lathes, not just wood lathes, but metal working lathes as well. We'll use that system. Right, I want to now move on to a little bit more detail with what is happening inside this headstock. So let's choose another colour, and we have a pulley wheel which is connected to the spindle. Close that off there, and then lower down we'd have another pulley wheel. Let's just draw that in there, in line. Okay, these are V pulleys, so the belt doesn't slip off that easy. And then we're also going to have in here a little symbol here for a motor. Let's get that filled in. So that's the motor. So again, let's get this labelled up. We have the motor, which can turn the pulley wheel around, and connecting those pulley wheels together, we of course need a pulley belt. Now, wondering if this little tool will help me quickly just get that pulley belt nice and straight. I'm a bit finicky about what I do. That's not bad there. And then I can have my pulley belt running down the axis there for that to work. So the motor will turn the pulley wheel will pull this pulley wheel, and then the spindle will rotate. And in some cases you have lathes which have a number of pulley wheels so that you can change the speed of them. But on other ones, which are a little bit more fancy, you get a variable speed button here. So again, let me just label that up. This is for the variable speed, because we need to change the speed depending on the diameter of wood that we're using on our machine. Right, a few other pointers then is that there is an on and off button normally, so let's just put that in there. I think that's simple. I won't label that up, but that's just a on off button. But more importantly, because safety comes first, you also need an emergency stop. Now sometimes the emergency stop are placed here near to the on off button, and also sometimes you get two, and you get another one down here which is for your foot. So if there's something happening up above with your hands and you can't switch it off, then you can have an emergency stop button in a very convenient place for you to kick, and then that will switch the machine off immediately. And then one or two other little details here is, I've told you that the tailstock can move up and down the bed. So when we get it into the right position, we need to lock it in place with a handle. Let's just put a little handle in there to lock it in. And as I said before, the quill can also move in and out along this area here. and out of the tailstock, and of course that will also need its own little locking device as well. I've changed the colour, let's put it back on there. So that will need a locking handle as well. So let's just label these up then. These would be the locking handles. Now there's one more thing that I need to put on here, of course, because I can't forget this one. I'm surprised I've left it to last, in fact. And this is the tool rest. Now the tool rest would sit just below that axis of symmetry that I was talking about. And it's connected to the bed of the lathe. Let's just get those filled in. And let's get that labelled up as well. So this is the tool rest. And this is where I'm going to place my tool. I'll run it along here and this will cut the wood. There's an option of having a tool rest over on this side as well. And also I had somebody email me about that being spelt wrong. So come on, Simon, let's get this right. Variable speed. Okay, I think I've got everything done. Thank you very much.